Okay, so before drilling holes and plumbing this tank, I put a leveling mat on the bottom of it. Uh, just put it down on the back of it, pull off the adhesive side, and cut it to fit. I used this level that was just the size of my tank perfectly. Measured like 3 times, cut once with the X-Acto knife. But a good tip is to use some isopropyl alcohol before you apply adhesive surfaces, just to get the most out of the stick, I guess I would say. But yep, pretty clean perimeter. Cut off all the excess. Looks good now. So now I'm gonna drill the holes. Okay, so to just make the template for what I'm gonna drill, want to know where you want to be. The custom aquarium provides you with how far away you want to be from every edge or wall, and the recommended. But after the minimum, it's up to you really. So I'm wanting outflow on each side of the aquarium and an intake on the middle. So because of the overflow is much deeper, kind of just find your spot and then put it down. You can draw around it. Or I use an expo marker, so anytime I made a mistake, I could just like wipe it off and then try again. But the whole point was to make sure I had that this was the exact same height as the other intake, that this was exactly centered. So I measured like 4 times up and down, or this way, and then got to my height that I wanted that to be at. So I'd have the water line exactly where I wanted it to be. And it's not that bad so far. Just if you want to do this, make sure you're using expo marker, not like a Sharpie. It'll stay in the glass, and you can easily wipe off. And it helps to have, a really long level and a measuring tape, just so you can measure 3 times, draw once, cut once. But the next part is just going to be drilling it. All right, and just to skip time and save you guys some trouble of just watching me drill through this, this is it. Really just smooth cut altogether. Took a while. You just have to take it easy and slow, but here's exactly how I wanted it. So you can see a representation of where I wanted the H2O flow to be and where I kind of want my water line to be. Kind of high, but that's also, when I measured that little gap right there, that's also where the canopy overhangs. So it kind of perfectly blends it. But yeah, clamping that over here and just taking your time, going slow, and praying a little bit does good. But yeah, leveled mat's fine. The acrylic's fine. There's no like breaking or anything like that. It's not glass. It's much easier than glass, and it's all good. I'm just gonna do the same thing for these two, and then I'll get back to you. Alrighty, so here we go. Done deal. Got all 3 drilled in. Here's a little frontal view before I set this up and water test it and everything. But there we go. Yeah, just go slow and easy. If you ever drill acrylic aquariums, any tool that you would apply to wood can be applied to acrylic. Just be careful with it. It wasn't hard, it was just tedious. But one thing is that when you finish drilling through a hole, you should, it'll be really warm. I went ahead and just made sure it was smoothed out all the way through and all the edges, and if you need to sand, you can, but I just immediately put the bulkheads in and let it cool around them, so I know everything's nice and fine. But yeah, so that was drilling. Not really bad at all. Up next is just going to be plumbing, water testing, making sure everything's good for half a day to a day before I start putting anything in here, and then scaping the tank and then cycling it. Okay, so here is the frosted background that I'm putting on the tank, just so I can hide the filtration and the cords and everything that's going to be going on behind the tank. Here's a little preview, kind of. But essentially, I couldn't record. It was just me and one friend, and we had to get it done real fast. But all I had to do is I used a card and a water bottle, and then the filming itself. So all I did was just sprayed with water, just made it really wet all across the surface of this, excessively wet. Took off the adhesive backing, and then I placed it on after I gave it a little bit excess on all sides, so I'd have room to play with, and I can cut that off in a second. And then once I put the adhesive backing on, you just take a card, and you'll have air pockets, and you'll just squeegee it. So just take a card and start sliding forward, and then everything's gonna go fine. It smooths out, looks great. All I have to do is cut the sides and trimming off, and then I'll be good and have this nice little background that doesn't take away from the aquascape, but also looks just nice and complements the whole ordeal. So yeah, I'll trim it off and I'll show you what it looks like set up. Okay, so the last thing I did just before I put it back up was I just used an X-Acto knife and I just trimmed the edges of all 3 holes before I put the plumbing back up. Hey, Jen.
Hey, bitch.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, hey, Dan. Oh, it's already down. But okay, this is a done deal now. I'll just show you, now I'm just going to show you what it looks like set up. So this is what it's like finished with the frosted background, all set up, looking fuego. Icy. Oh my gosh, though. I don't know if I could actually do this that good. I was saying, but yeah. In the next video, I'm going to show you guys plumbing and how to plumb the seamless sump filter and what all I'm doing. But one thing I put for here is right there is a little 90-degree elbow with male and female thread fittings, because Custom Aquariums doesn't make a little 90-degree for those. So I talked to them and they said try a little DIY thing, and hopefully they'll start making something like this, because I'd love to switch out for a Custom Aquarium made for the same thing. I just love it to be an entire build from them. But just painted it black with what was it called? I'll link it in the description. But there you go. It looks pretty nice though. I'm really proud of how it came out. And I don't think it's going to take away from the scape or anything. But it'll also do a good job of hiding the wires and stuff behind. But yeah, alright. I'll see you guys next time.